Hello, welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome back if you're a subscriber. Today I'm going to be releasing my audiobook vlog where I decided to read Kayla's audiobook recommendations. So Kayla from Books and Lala has put out 2 different recommendation videos for her favorite audiobooks. And if you don't know this already, I really have been getting into audiobooks so much this year. More than half of what I read is through listening to audiobooks because A, I can read faster, and B, a lot of times if the audiobook is super good, I feel like it just adds so much to the story. And so I have been really into audiobooks, and a few months ago I decided to start a reading vlog where I picked out some of the ones she recommended. So in this vlog I will be reading When the Reckoning Comes by LaTanya McQueen, A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson, For Your Own Good by Samantha, and Comfort Me with Apples by Catherynne M. Valente. So I started this vlog a while ago, and it's taken a while to put this one together. I have just been not very good at filming vlogs and doing them in a short period of time. I'll read a little bit for them and then I'll kind of have to step away and life happens and everything. I'm sorry that this will be covering footage from so many months, but I still wanted to put it out there because I really enjoyed reading her audiobook recommendations. I love Kayla's channel. I love her content. She is so creative. She's such an awesome person. I feel like she puts out so many creative video ideas. So I wanted to take her recommendations, see if I enjoyed the audiobooks, see what I thought about the books, and this is the video for you. So in this video, I'm going to start with the more recent footage, and then we're going to rewind and go back to the earlier footage I filmed. So my bunny just sneezed. It was so cute. At the end, I'm going to rank them, but in this video, I have some bookshelf organization happening. I have kind of an old bookshelf tour, and then I have updated it, so I have some clips of that as well. And yeah, I just have a lot of stuff packed into this vlog, so I really hope you enjoy it. And I will be putting out my own recommendations video for audiobooks because I have quite a list now, since like I said, now most of what I read is through audiobook. I definitely read still physically. Actually, my preferred way of reading, I think my absolute favorite, is following along physically with an audiobook. But share in the comments what your preferred way of reading is. I would love to hear. Also, I want to share the synopsis for When the Reckoning Comes. So this one is about Mira, and she ran away from her segregated town years ago. But she recently gets invited by her ex-best friend, who she knew in her childhood, Celine, and she gets invited to her wedding. However, the wedding is taking place on a plantation, which is obviously wildly inappropriate and also even more insensitive to Mira's past because of an event that happened involving this plantation when she was a child. So it's rumored that the ghosts of the enslaved people actually haunt this plantation, and she decides to kind of go support her friend, but she feels very uncomfortable about it. And this one mixes supernatural and real life horror into it. Hello, so I just recently got home from work and I just had dinner. And the sun is down because fall is coming, but I wanted to take a walk. So I think I'm gonna go take a walk in a neighborhood that's pretty safe nearby. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna continue listening to When the Reckoning Comes. So far, I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying the narrator and I'm really engaged in the story. And actually, this one isn't too long. I'm listening to it, I believe, at like 2 times the speed, maybe a little bit less, but I should be able to finish this one pretty soon. And yeah, it already feels really chilling, and I'm really interested in seeing where the story goes. Hello, I am looking forward to tonight because I have some reading sprints on my channel. I do weekly ambiance reading sprints, and I will be listening to When the Reckoning Comes. And I didn't really get to listen to it very much last night because I filmed a book haul and then I was editing and then I was having some issues with exporting. And so by the time I had completed all of that, I wasn't able to read more. but I did want to pop on here and let you know an update for today. So I went and did my workout class today and it kicked my ass. It is so freaking hard. It's a HIIT workout and I have been doing it for about a month and going about once a week, and exercise is really, really helpful to my mental health, and so I'm really trying to prioritize it. But after my HIIT workouts, I feel them for literally days after, like I am sore for days. So to treat myself, I'm going to go get a Starbucks drink. I haven't been to Starbucks in so long, but I'm really, really craving a Java chip Frappuccino, and I think I'm going to get it with almond milk because I can't have dairy, and I'm very excited for it. So I will take you all with me to do that. And also this afternoon, I was sort of doing some editing for some thumbnails and I turned on Scream 4, and something about the Scream movies are just, they're so good. They're such comfort watches. They're so perfect for just having on in the background, and I love Scream 4. I know not everybody's a fan, but I love it so much. It's just so nostalgic feeling. I think Emma Roberts does such an amazing job, and yeah, I love Scream 4. So that's my update for today. I'm also wearing a sweatshirt. Why am I? I don't know, because it's literally hot, but I got really cold all of a sudden, so I'm gonna change before I go. And I am really looking forward to reading more of When the Reckoning Comes because I am really enjoying it. I'm loving the atmosphere in it so far, and I can't wait to see what happens next. I'm waiting for my Starbucks right now, and I just realized I forgot to film going up to Starbucks and like the ordering screen. I am so bad at remembering to vlog when I'm out and about, but I am waiting for my Java chip Frappuccino. I got it with almond milk, and this is like my guilty pleasure drink when I just want something that basically isn't coffee but has that little coffee taste but is basically a milkshake. It's so good. So I'm really excited to get that. And on my way, I have been listening to When the Reckoning Comes, and this narrator's voice is just so beautiful. I just want to listen to this narrator read me stories before bed like every night. It's so relaxing and really brings out the beauty in this author's writing style. All right, I have my drink. It's right here. It is as good, if not better, than I remember. It's so good. Also, hello to my second storage cabinet, aka my backseat of my car. We live in a studio apartment and we have like no storage. It's all full and we're too stubborn to buy a storage unit. So half the time I get like paper towels and toilet paper from Costco and I keep them in the back of my car. I am that person. Anyway, what I was saying was this narrator's voice is so pretty and soothing to listen to. And I actually originally DNF'd this book. I only read like 2 chapters, but I was physically reading it and for some reason I just wasn't getting into it. But immediately when I was listening to it on audiobook, I was hooked from the beginning. I went back and reread the beginning, and it's just totally adding to the experience of this book. So I'm really, really happy that Kayla recommended this audiobook. And yeah, there's also some quotes that I will probably go back and physically find in the book and share with you guys because they are the writing, it's so good. I want to share some of these with you. So earlier I mentioned that I wanted to share some quotes from this book, and I'm gonna read some of them to you, the ones that really stuck out to me. Hush though and listen. If you're quiet, you can hear their whispers in the water, calling to those left behind. Hush and you can hear them lurking, waiting for the day they can make their return. Another quote that really stuck out to me was, "It could have been whispers, the way the wind blew through the cracks of her car windows as she drove east on Highway 158 towards Gibson. The sound unsettled her in its vague familiarity as she got closer, enough that she shook the feeling away and turned the windows up, putting the air conditioner on full blast. The foliage grew dense and lush as she continued into the heart of the woods. The trees' branches above clouded the summer light, and she worried she'd cross a point of no return where she'd be lost forever. It didn't seem she was getting any closer to the fields, but closer to a world unfamiliar." Hello, so I am currently hosting my reading sprints and I have made it to about 68% into the novel, and I have some thoughts that I'd like to share so far. So I am really enjoying this one. It is quite heavy subject matter because it deals with racism and slavery. So it's a sad read, and throughout the book there are kind of these passages about the slaves that have lived there in the past woven into the story, and it's powerful and is a harsh reality of what happened to the slaves on this land. And so the writing style is so beautiful, like I've mentioned a bunch of times. You really feel the heat in this novel. So it takes place in the South, and I feel like it's the perfect time of year to read this because this is a good summer horror book. You really feel the heat. Also, throughout the book, the horror elements are really subdued and kind of understated, and the true horror of this is the reality of what happened to these slaves in the past and all the racism that still is happening. So it's heavy on social commentary with all of this. This book also just feels very atmospheric, and I think part of this is the setting and also just the way that the author writes. It's very atmospheric and gothic feeling, and you're seeing kind of these ghosts, and basically the ghosts are sharing the history of the land. And so each time the ghosts are described, there are these very disturbing scenes, and it happens, but then throughout the rest of the novel, it's just very subdued, if that makes sense. Hello, I'm coming here to give a wrap up of When the Reckoning Comes. And first of all, I wanted to say, I feel like this couch is like my little wrap-up couch. I always end up sitting here when I wrap up books that I read in vlogs. I just realized that. I was like, every time I'm sitting here, I feel like you're probably going to get a wrap-up. So I ended up giving this book 4 stars, and the reason why I didn't rate it a bit higher is just because I actually felt like it was a little bit too short. So it was 235 pages, and I feel like this story would have benefited from maybe an extra 50 pages because I felt like this was very much a character study. The horror was a part of it, obviously. This is still a horror book, but I felt like it was very character driven, and most of it was focused on the main characters. And I felt like there was a little bit of backstory that I didn't get from all the main characters. I just felt like I wanted to know each of them just a little bit more than I got. And I really liked the sections where they were flashbacks to the past of when the main characters were growing up. And I just wanted a little bit more of that. So that's why I didn't rate it higher. I actually just felt like it needed to be a little longer, which is interesting because I feel like usually books don't need to be longer. Like they're a good length, or if anything, they're too long. So I just find it interesting that this actually I felt like needed to be a little bit longer. Another reason why I only gave it 4 stars and not more is because I felt like the ending was a little anticlimactic and just happened really, really fast. And I felt like I didn't fully get to process everything that happened and the book was already over. So I feel like I wanted a lot more from the ending and more of a clear kind of end, I guess I would say. It really, really built up, and then I felt like the book just ended. Also, I just wanted to say some of these passages were very, very hard to read. They're obviously, drawing on true events of what happened to enslaved people, and the plantation owner in this story was so disgusting and vile. And actually there was a scene towards the end when it was fully revealed what happened to the people's lives who lived there. Oh my gosh, it was very, very hard to read, and the graphic violence in it was just super, super disturbing. It had to do with something that particularly really bothers me. I don't want to say what it is because it will give away kind of what happened, but it's a specific type of violence that is very, very disturbing to me. So yeah, that was very disturbing. And when you just find out the backstory about everything that happened, there's a particular backstory about a child in this and how they were treated. It's just absolutely disgusting and really, really disturbing. But I think this book would be perfect for someone who wants a very character-driven horror story, a very atmospheric read. So this one definitely is a Southern Gothic atmosphere. The writing really fits this, and the audiobook really added to the atmosphere, like I said before. And for someone who wants a book with a little bit of paranormal elements, but where it's mostly just focused on real life horrors, I would really recommend this one. Also, I particularly enjoyed how the author transitioned really smoothly into the flashback portions of this. And like I said before, I just wanted more of them, but I really thought that she very skillfully transitioned into these portions. So I'm really, really glad that I read this book for this video. It has been on my TBR for a while, and I'm really glad that I read it. And at the end of this video, I'll be sharing a final ranking of everything I read, but I really, really enjoyed this one. Hi, so this is the part of the vlog where we're about to rewind and go back to the footage that I filmed a while ago. It's obviously a different season. It is, you know, the fall season right now. I mean, it's not. It's literally the end of August, but I started decorating for Halloween in August because it's such a cozy time. I have my favorite jack-o'-lantern pillow right here, but I wanted to hop on here and tell you the synopses of the two books that I'm going to talk about in this part of the vlog. And the first one is Comfort Me with Apples. And this one is by Catherynne M. Valente. And before I read this one, I wasn't really sure what I was going to think of it because I heard some really, really conflicting reviews. When I first heard the title, I was immediately intrigued. I knew I had to read it because it was such a strange title, and the cover was really, really interesting, and it was kind of marketed as a horror book. But I was seeing in reviews that everyone was saying it's not really fully a horror book and that it's a little bit more speculative. And so I wasn't sure what to expect going into it. But basically it's about this woman who lives in this community, and she feels like her life is just completely perfect. She's never upset, she's never sad, she has a perfect husband, and the only thing that she is not super happy about is that she misses him a lot because he leaves the house for these business trips. And one day she starts to wonder if she's missing something and that something maybe darker is happening in this community, because the community seems very idyllic, but she starts getting some weird vibes that something more might be going on under the surface that no one is telling her about. So then the next book I read for this is For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing. And this one I was really, really excited for because it kind of has a dark academic atmosphere because it's about a professor at this prestigious academy. And basically he's super narcissistic and feels like he always has to teach people lessons and put them in their place. And a death of a parent actually happens, but he's not too worried, even though it appears to be murder. His main focus is just honestly teaching the students and helping them reach their fullest potential. And he does this in very unconventional ways, for sure. So as soon as I heard that premise and kind of saw it around everywhere a while ago, I knew I really wanted to read it at some point. So I chose to read it for this vlog because Kayla recommended it, and I hadn't read a Samantha Downing before. I actually still own My Lovely Wife. I want to get to it at some point, but this was my first Samantha Downing, and I will save my thoughts on what I thought about this book for the footage that's to come, but that is my little introduction in the section, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the vlog. Hey, so I just got home from work. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired right now. I barely got any sleep last night, and then I had to run around at my coffee shop job all day. And you know when you're so tired and you have almost too much caffeine and it almost just makes you more tired, or you just feel off? That's kind of how I felt today because I kept having more and more caffeine and it kept just making me shaky by the end. So anyway, I have a weird amount of like jittery energy right now, but I wanted to show you all what I got in the mail, and I'm so excited for these. So first of all, I got from Nightfire Just Like Mother, and look at this scary sticker on the package. I'm obsessed. I love it so much, but I thought I would open it. And then I also got a package from Amazon because I ordered Scream 4. So I own all the Scream movies except the most recent, and also I needed to own Scream 4. So I'm really excited to have it on DVD, so now I can pop it in whenever. I actually personally really love Scream 4. It's one of my favorites in the franchise just because It feels nostalgic, but I also really, really love Emma Roberts' character that she plays, and I love just the kind of aspect of technology in it, but it still feels really dated. So anyway, I love that movie, and I'm gonna open that in a minute. But first, I wanna open my ARC for Just Like Mother, which I'm so excited for. First of all, the cover for this is incredible. I feel like Nightfire just puts out so many incredible covers, but look at this. So scary. Dolls have always really scared me. Let me know in the comments if dolls freak you out, but I remember as a kid, I used to have all these porcelain dolls that were handed down to me, and I had them in my bedroom, and I had them on a dresser, and there was probably like 10 of them. And I remember I was totally fine with them when I was younger. I never felt scared by them, but then I just had this awareness one day that, oh my gosh, they're watching me as I sleep. And then I got freaked out, so I told my mom, please put them away in a box, let's seal them off, like we're done with the dolls for now. So anyway, this has a creepy doll on the cover, and I really hope I love this one. This has been an anticipated read for a while for me, so I'm so excited to have an ARC. A fierce, frightening novel that examines autonomy, motherhood, and the dark side of feminine power with savage precision. Just Like Mother is a total thrill ride. Buckle up and be warned, there's no calling for mommy. So that sounds really great. So I'm really excited for that. Also, it came with this sticky note pad, which is so cool. It has a magnet and terrifying, right? Super scary. So I love it though. I love a scary baby, right? And then let's open my Scream DVD. Here it is. I love it. So I'm gonna add this to my collection, and pretty soon I'll have to buy Scream 5. All right, so a little update about Comfort Me with Apples. So this one is a really, really short audiobook. It's only 2 hours, but I listened at about 1.8 times the speed because I really still wanted to hear the narrator's voice and see how the narrator added to the atmosphere, because Kayla really talked about how the narrator really adds to the tone of the book, and I could not agree more. So I'm so glad I listened to this one instead of reading it. It really gave it such an eerie feeling. But I listened to it while I was sort of cleaning around the house, and I was very engaged the whole entire time. It basically starts out feeling off from the beginning. So throughout the book, there's these beginnings of each of the chapters that are like a contract for this community, and the whole time I sort of thought it was sort of like a cult community or also maybe a utopian society, and it just felt super off the whole entire time. And as the twist is sort of revealing and you start to figure out what's going on, I was really surprised where it went. And personally, I ended up giving it 2.5 stars. And the reason for this wasn't because I thought it was badly written. And I know a lot of people did say this one isn't what you expect. It doesn't really read like a thriller or a horror novel. It reads more like literary fiction, and I really agree with this. And so the twist was a little bit too religious for me. It just didn't shock me a ton. So I kind of wish it had a different twist, but I do objectively think this is a really, really well-written novel. And the sense of dread in the first half of it was so good to me. I really loved the first half. It was kind of like the twist that I didn't like as much where it went, if that makes sense. But I'm still really happy I read this one because I've been so intrigued by it. And I really wanted to know if I fell in the camp of really, really being so impressed by it and loving the twist, or if I was more in the didn't love it but still appreciate it. Actually, I'm sure there's people who actually hate this book, but I didn't hate it. I had no bad feelings towards the book. I just sort of wanted it to go a different direction. And so that's why I gave it 2.5 stars. I will say the narrator totally added to the setting. If I hadn't read it through audiobook, I may have DNF'd it just because the narrator had this sort of cheery sounding voice, because the main character has this sort of world where she's supposed to be always happy, and it really came across so well through the narrator. She did such a good job of making it sound like this forced happiness, but it was sort of like a delusional happiness. And I just thought it really added to the reading experience and made it feel so eerie. Hello! So I started For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing during my sprints tonight, and I guess I started a little bit earlier today, but I read the majority of this book during the sprints, and now I'm on chapter 33, I believe. So yeah, I'm kind of like maybe a fourth into the book, maybe a little bit more, but I'm really liking it so far. It's not something that's making me obsessed with it yet, but I am still really intrigued and want to know what's happening. So I will say the audiobook definitely is wonderful because this is about a teacher who's extremely narcissistic, and the way the narrator narrates his character, you just really feel the tone of who this character is, and I'm just really enjoying that aspect. So Kayla was definitely right when she recommended this one as an audiobook. But anyway, on my sprints, I was sprinting with Ashley from Ashley's Little Library and Marcy from Marcy Reads, and it was so much fun. So I'll link that live in the description. But yeah, it was so fun hanging out with them and chatting, and we had a lot of fun on that live. I think for the rest of tonight, I'm maybe going to take a little bit of a break from reading because I read for a while tonight and made a lot of progress on the book. And I think I'm going to pick out another horror movie, so we'll see. But yeah, that's my little update. I just wanted to share how I was feeling about the book so far. I will say I sort of wish that it had a little bit more atmosphere. It is in an academic setting. I wouldn't classify this really as dark academia, but that's kind of my one complaint so far. But I'm very intrigued, and yeah, I'm liking it. Also, earlier when I was running errands, I got these two big t-shirts. Those are some of my favorite things I like wearing at my coffee shop job because they're super comfortable, and I really like the tie-dye in these because I do work with bleach and sometimes there are bleach stains on my clothes, so tie-dye is perfect for my job. And then I also found these really cute overalls. So they're just these classic black short overalls, which are so cute. I can't wait to wear them in the summer with maybe like a tube top under them, or they would also look really cute with just one of these t-shirts actually. So I'm really loving it. And yeah, I got these at Walmart earlier. I also got a wreath for our door, and it's really pretty. I got it from At Home. Hello, so I wanted to give you an update on For Your Own Good, and this book is kind of turning into a revenge novel, which I had no idea it would be. I mean, I kind of knew it would be a revenge novel with the teacher trying to make people get what they deserve, quote unquote, but there's a different layer within this novel that's kind of a revenge plot, which I really am enjoying. I've been listening to this one a lot while I'm trying to clean because I have so many clothes I need to get rid of, and I'm trying to kind of weed down the things I have and organize things better since the seasons are changing. So I've been listening, and it's a really nice book to just kind of have on in the background. You don't really have to think about it too much, which is kind of nice, and you just get to enjoy the narration. So I'm really enjoying reading this one through audiobook. I really am glad that I'm reading it that way. And yeah, I don't really have much more of an update right now, except that I have only a few more hours. The audiobook narrator actually reads very, very slow on 1 times the speed. So I'm listening faster than I normally would. And so I think I should be able to finish it really, really soon. Hello, so I'm popping on here to give a wrap up of For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing. And first of all, I want to point out my dark academic look I've got going on here. I've really gotten into dark academic kind of fashion and vibes, and I've been drawn to dark academic books. I would say more on the thriller horror end. I read They Never Learn, and I was absolutely obsessed with the dark academia in it. So then I really was searching for more dark academic thrillers, and so I found In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, which I loved. I actually really also enjoyed My Dearest Darkest by Kayla Cottingham, and this is a YA horror sapphic book, and it is so freaking good. It has those dark academic vibes, obviously, as you can tell from the beautiful stunning cover. Anyway, I love those vibes. And so first of all, I want to say For Your Own Good, you know, it takes place at this really prestigious prep school, but I do have to say that the dark academic vibes weren't as much there as I wanted them to. It wasn't so much of an atmospheric read, but rather a read that was more involved with the drama and everything that was going on with the main character and being inside his head. And so it was more of just a pure thriller with less atmosphere. So I think that's why I only ended up giving it 3 stars. The narrator was fabulous though. He conveyed the tone of Teddy, the main character, so well. His sarcastic, egotistical attitude to everything. He's so freaking pretentious. He thinks he's better than everyone. And the story has a few decent twists. I felt like the chapters were really short. I was listening to it, so I don't know for sure, but I think the chapters were short because it went by really fast. And this was kind of just a fun popcorn thriller. I wasn't overly invested in it, but I'm still glad I read it, and it was entertaining, and I did like the twist. So I would recommend this one if you just sort of want a more drama-filled kind of academic setting thriller where you're in a really unlikable protagonist's mind, and you're hearing their thoughts, their sort of humor, their sarcastic dark humor, I suppose. So yeah, I would recommend that if you really like that kind of book. Alrighty, so I have dusted everything, which I'm so glad I did because it really needed it. And I've separated everything I haven't read with everything I've read. There's a few things over on my bookshelf over here that are not really organized like that. This is the stack of books I still need to read that I physically own, minus these Stephen King books down here. I'm just keeping them down there. I haven't read any of those except I have read Gerald's Game. But here's the stack of books I still haven't read, and then here are the stack of books that I have read that I own. And I'm actually pretty happy with how many books I have read that I own. I feel like it's maybe almost half and half. Maybe there's a little bit more unread. I haven't counted. I am now going to be organizing this. So I'm gonna put all the books that I haven't read higher up on my bookshelf, and then all of the books that I have read lower down, and then on this book card over here. Alright, so for this top section, I put some of my favorite books that I own physically. So The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, Gone Girl, Pretty Girls, No Exit, They Never Learn, and Horror Store. Then I put some other ones that I really like as well. The Maidens, The Silent Patient, None Shall Sleep, and The Patient. And I have this really pretty statue up here that I am obsessed with. It's so cute. And then I have this Mexican Gothic print, which I love. My friend got it for me, and I really love it so much. I have this skeleton skull kind of figurine. Then I put some arcs here because I want to keep them where I can see them. And my Kindle. I have this Coffee and Currently Reading candle, and this smells really good. This is from Novel Wicks. Then I have my bookmarks in this little container that can spin so you can see them easily. And then here are all the books I haven't read. So I have all these ones up top. Then this second row I have not read as well. And then on this one, everything I've read except this one over here. So I've read all these. And then moving up here, these are my higher priority physical books that I have on the top shelf of my cart. Then I move down here and I haven't read up to here. And then I actually have read these 4 over here. Then my Stephen King area. Then moving on to this wall area over here, I have a bunch of Book of the Month books. Then I have Anxious People, which was a book that really moved me that I read a while ago. I have The Night Swim, which I love. And then of course Home Before Dark with these cool edges here. They're green, which I love. And then I have My Cute Ghost. Up here, I have my Riley Sager area, which I absolutely love. And I have the Mary Shelley Club up here, which I really enjoyed as well. And then I have these books over here. So some books I still haven't read in this area, but I actually have read a lot and I'm really happy with it. I'm going to want to put a kind of corner bookshelf over here by our TV. But yeah, I'm still kind of getting the area put together even though we've been in this apartment for a while. All right, so I wanted to give an updated tour kind of my book area because I've been filming this video over several months and so it's been updated. We got some more shelves installed and everything, so I want to show you all. So I have this remote and I'm going to turn on my candles that I ordered and I love them so much. I feel like they just add to the cozy atmosphere of the bookshelves. They are from Amazon and I turn them on at night when I watch horror movies and it's just such a nice vibe. So I got these bookshelves up here put in. There's some floating bookshelves and I'm obsessed with them. And so I have them organized by arcs that have been sent to me, mostly up there. Then you can see I have some more books down here. And now I have this bust kind of sitting on top of It by Stephen King, which I guess I still had it like that before, but it just looks so different now that this space is filled in with these floating shelves, which I really, really love. And then I still have some of my favorite books here, just like before. I've added some new ones. And then I have these stunning bookends that my husband got me for our anniversary, our 3rd year wedding anniversary. And we have a pet bunny, so these are really special and they were such a sweet surprise. I had no idea he was getting them for me, but I have some books kind of that I want to prioritize up here. And then I have my book cart, which is pretty much the same. Now I have put my bookmarks here instead of where they used to be. Over here is more or less the same. I still have these lights that I like. I still have this little ghost that I love so much and I will always have on my shelves. But that's kind of a shelf update from the future. So I'm starting to make my page for my reading journal and look where Felix is. He's right near me. He's being so cute. But I just started a Dowry of Blood and I'm already so impressed with the whole narration style. Hi, so I wanted to give a reading update for A Dowry of Blood. So I listened to some of it the other night. I started it while I was working on my reading journal and I was immediately struck at the narrator. Oh my gosh, her narration style and the way she conveys emotions is incredible. I honestly haven't even heard anything like it before. That may sound really kind of like a bold statement, but I don't know. I just haven't heard anyone narrate a book like how she does. So this book is about Dracula's bride, and she's writing a letter to Dracula, and basically it's clear from the beginning that she has killed him. And so it's this letter expressing her angers and her resentment and kind of just explaining her whole situation, talking sort of about how she was groomed by him. It's a commentary on dysfunctional and abusive relationships. And so the narrator takes this source material and really, really draws out the emotion in it. And I was just immediately struck by that. So I'm very sucked into the story. I've never really read anything like it. It's very poetic writing. And I really imagine the imagery in this one. It's like the atmosphere of this book is really coming alive. I don't know if part of it's from hearing it narrated. I'm sure that's part of it, but also just the writing style is so beautiful. I don't know. I really, really like it. It's very sad though, because it is commenting on abusive relationships. And so I'm still only kind of going through the first part of it. There are 3 chapters in this one, and I'm still in the first chapter. So I'm still in the first third of the book, but yeah, I wanted to express how much I'm impressed by the narrator and the writing in this. And it's funny because this is a book that I probably wouldn't have picked up, but I know that Jan Agaton really, really loves this book so much. It's like one of her favorite books of all time. And also, of course, Kayla's recommendation for this book, talking about how the audiobook is amazing. And I also saw that Gabby was super surprised with how much she liked this book. So I was like, this is a sign from the universe. I really need to check out this book. and I'm so glad I am reading it. So I'm gonna keep reading or listening to the book tonight. I actually have a stack of flyers that I need to fold for my job, so I'm going to be doing that. I actually am a violin teacher and I teach private lessons, and so I printed out some flyers to give out to people, so it's exciting. They look really, really good. I actually designed them on Canva, which, can we just talk about how amazing Canva is for a second? I started YouTube about a year ago, a little bit more, and I don't know what I would have done before Canva because I've never used like Photoshop or PicMonkey or anything like that, and so my thumbnails are all made in Canva and it makes it so easy. But I was able to design a flyer, and I'm just trying to get more students because I love teaching and I want to do it way more full time. So yeah, anyway, if you don't already know, I went to school for violin performance. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in it, and I have kind of taken a break from playing, but I really want to start playing. And this is kind of random, but I really love Bach so much. Bach is probably my favorite composer of all time. His music is so moving, and reading this book actually kind of makes me want to play Bach. I don't know if that makes sense, but I kind of have this urge to pull out my violin and kind of play one of his pieces. And also, I believe that this kind of takes place in the time frame of when Bach was alive. I could be wrong because I don't really know. It doesn't really say the year for this. I'll maybe go fact check that, but it's very possible that Bach could have been alive in this time period, so I'm just wanting to play that music. So Constanza really likes choosing her victims really carefully, so she chooses horrible men who kind of deserve to be killed. And I don't know, I just thought that stood out to me because even though she was made a vampire and she kind of has no choice, she's still trying to use this power in a way that's best for society. So I really like how the author put that in. So something I find funny about myself is that I'm totally okay with reading gore violence, but as soon as it's like body horror, I struggle. And for some reason, something about vampires just feels very body horror to me. So it's funny because listening to some of these scenes are gross to me and make me feel squeamish, which is funny because, like I said, I can handle like so much violence when I'm reading it on the page or watching it, but there's just certain things that make me squeamish, and vampires and sucking blood, that's like one of the things that makes me squeamish. So some of the descriptions in here are super gross. Also, another thing that I get squeamish with is torture, especially in movies. I haven't really read a ton of torture in books. I've read some, but mostly in movies. So I could watch someone get like torn apart by a zombie all day, but as soon as it's like a human torturing another human, then it's harder for me to watch. So let me know in the comments if you have anything like that. Even just like normal medical stuff, like medical shows or surgery or stuff like that, I cannot watch, but I can watch like violent horror movies or read violent things. It's so random. Hey, so I just got off of my shift, and first of all, I want to say it's so sprinkly outside. It's been raining. It's been so cozy. I feel like this is just going to be a perfect night to curl up and continue listening to A Dowry of Blood. I filmed a little bit at work actually while I was steaming some milk. It was kind of hard because of how our espresso machine is set up, but I did a little heart and I'm working on my latte art. It's nothing incredible, but I'm trying to improve it. So yeah, I made a pretty little heart, which I put in some B-roll, and I may try to film a little bit more as I'm making coffee or the various drinks I make at my job, just because it's super relaxing to watch. I really enjoy making coffee and drinks. Honestly, probably my favorite drinks to make are lattes with whole milk, because whole milk steams the best, but I personally can't have dairy, so I always have almond milk. But if you're wondering kind of my go-tos for drinks at my work, I love their blueberry matcha. It's so good. Before I started working here, I never had tried matcha before, and now I am obsessed with it. And then I really love lattes with almond milk, so oftentimes I'll just get an iced vanilla latte, or sometimes I'll get an Americano with some vanilla in it. But yeah, those are kind of like my favorite go-to drinks. If I'm going to be drinking something in the morning, I really like having a big cappuccino, but if I drink that throughout the day while I'm at work and I'm moving a ton, it kind of doesn't sit well in my stomach. So tell me what your favorite drink is in the comments. But yeah, I just wanted to pop on here and say that. Also, I don't know if you can see because it's really dark and I'm just filming on my iPhone, but I'm wearing this cute bow I got a while ago. It has daisies on it and it's so cute. I feel like I want to start dressing up a little cuter at work. It's hard because you get bleach stains on everything, but I gotta find a balance between cute and also an outfit that's okay to ruin. So today I was just wearing this outfit that I felt okay if it got bleach on it. It's this thrifted jeans jacket as well as this kind of shirt dress. And then of course this is not gonna get bleached. So anyway, I'm hopefully going to finish my book today. We'll see how I feel once I get home. I'm gonna actually try to film as well my anticipated horror releases video. So we'll see what happens, but I'll keep you all updated. Hello, I'm coming to you from my floor. I'm sitting in front of my bookshelf. My bunny is right here by me. He's so cute, so sweet, so perfect. He's just such a cuddly, furry ball of fluff and cuteness. And I honestly am obsessed with him and he's perfect. But beside the point, I'm gonna give a final wrap up of A Dowry of Blood. I feel like in my other clips, I kind of expressed most of my thoughts on this one, but I ended up giving it a 4-star rating. I thought that the writing was just so poetic and beautiful. I really loved how this one explored toxic relationships and abuse, and all of the emotion in this story was just expertly portrayed through the audiobook narrator. I mean, it was just incredible to listen to. It was extremely dramatic and emotional and just all of the goodness that you want from a story like this. It was really sad too. It's very hard to read, but also I just enjoyed how poetic it was. I could just sit there and listen to this narrator expressing these beautiful words from the page for hours and never get tired of it. So I gave it 4 stars, and it definitely is one of the more unique books I've read. So throughout the book, you're watching this woman reclaim herself and find herself after she's escaped this abusive relationship. And it's just really powerful to read about, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. It's very powerful. It's a very powerful read. I think that's why so many people really, really love this book, and it kind of has a cult following. I want to share some quotes that I really, really enjoyed from it. So here's one of the quotes that really stuck out to me, and it's very simple, but oof, it has me feeling the feels. Even loneliness, hollow and cold, becomes so familiar it starts to feel like a friend. And another quote is, I dove down deep into your psyche, turning over every word you gave me like a jewel, looking for meaning, seeking out the mysteries of you. I didn't care if I lost myself in the process. I wanted to be brought by the hand into your world and disappear into your kiss until us two could no longer be told apart. In this world, you are what I say you are, and I say you are a ghost, a long night's fever dream that I have finally woken up from. I say you are the smoke wisp memory of a flame, thawing ice suffering under an early spring sun, a chalk ledger of debts being wiped clean. I say you do not have a name. I was tired of carrying around the weight of a love like worship, of sickly warm rush of adultery coloring my whole world. Hello, I'm here for my ranking and wrap up for this vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you really, really enjoyed it. And I feel like you all know my overall feelings towards all the books, but I do want to rank them. So first of all, I definitely give all of these audiobooks 5 stars. I thought they were incredible. I thought all the actors that were involved in making these were so good, so impressive, just conveyed emotion, characters, the overall story just so well through their voices. So enjoyed the audiobook listening experience for all of them. So 5 stars for the narrators. I want to rank what my favorite one is. This one is really, really hard because 2 of them are 4-star reads for me. So A Dowry of Blood and also When the Reckoning Comes, I both ranked 4 stars. However, I think I'm going to, in my top place, do When the Reckoning Comes, just because I really, really enjoyed the social commentary in it. I enjoyed the subtle supernatural horror within more horrific real life circumstances. And so I think I'm gonna rate that one the highest, and then I'm gonna rank A Dowry of Blood I loved the commentary on abusive relationships. It was so lyrically written and just absolutely stunningly beautiful to listen to. So that one's next. Then I'm going to do For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing. I rated that one 3 stars. And then Comfort Me with Apples, which I rated 2 stars. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these, what your rankings were. And if you've made it this far in the video, make sure you leave a purple heart. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will talk to you all very, very soon. Bye.